What's up, you guys? Void here, coming back at you all with another Commander deck tech video. This one was again voted on by my patrons. Kind of messed up on the end time for the poll, gave it an extra week when I wasn't supposed to, but anyway, they chose Rhys the Redeemed, or Rhys the Redeemed. However it's pronounced, I'm not really certain, but I think it's Rhys. He is 1 mana hybrid green-white for a 1/1 legendary elf warrior with 2 activated abilities. The first one is 3 mana, tap it to put a 1/1 green and white elf warrior creature token into play. The second one is 6 mana, tap it for each creature token you control, put a token into play that's a copy of that creature. Now the cool thing about Rhys the Redeemed is that he's only 1 mana, which you might think would be better earlier on in the game, but believe it or not, that is going to matter more mid to late game, and it's not going to be as aggressive as you might think. After all, his activated ability, or at least the best one, is 6 mana, so you have to put that into account, which likely means that if you have Lightning Greaves, if you have any haste enabler, you want to get him out there mid to late game, use his ability, and get a whole bunch more tokens. Ideally, that's what you want to have happen. Now, just a warning, this is a very linear deck. It's going to focus on creature tokens, things that can produce those tokens. This comes from creature ETBs, also comes from instants and sorceries, but for the most part, that's it. You don't really have too much else other than good staples in Celestia. You want to kind of focus on that theme of token production and trying to benefit in combat with your numbers, which is really the idea. This is a token deck anyway, and like all token decks, you're going to want to play 2 cards in particular, Parallel Lives and Anointed Procession. They do exactly the same thing, only really affects you, and that's just fine. We have a deck where we put out nothing but tokens. Having one or both of these out at the same time is going to make our deck a lot quicker. Those are really the 2 best enablers for this deck. The rest is really going to be from our creatures. We play things like Voice of Resurgence, Geist Honored Monk, Mycoloth, Tendershoot Dryad, Armada Worm, Avenger of Zendikar, and even Tristani Summoner, just to get a variety of tokens on our side, because Rhys does double the number of creature tokens that we have into play. So if we have a 2/2, a 3/3, and a 4/4, we're going to get another one of each of those. But you can also go with instants and sorceries that are going to help you out a bit. For instance, Second Harvest I think is brilliant. It's not as good as Parallel Lives, but it's going to be an after the fact Parallel Lives, even if it is just going to be a one-time thing. Very underrated card, but doing it at the right time can put you in a position to win. And this is, of course, in addition to a lot of the token producing instants and sorceries. Secure the Wastes, White Sun Zenith to get some cats, Martial Coup could also be a board wipe, Entreat the Angels, and Increasing Devotion. These are all really good, and they have the potential to get you out a bunch of them, especially the X-costed ones where you could dump all your mana into it that you want to and get a huge return. And speaking of token producers, few are as good in my opinion as Elspeth Sun's Champion. Her plus, getting you 3 1/1 white soldiers, is just fantastic. Her alt is fantastic, and it's definitely a win con in a deck where you're focused on getting tokens, regardless of if they're 1/1s or not. They're going to get +2/+2 in flying, which is going to get over a lot of things. But we need a way to win other than just numbers, and you see a little bit of that with Elspeth's alt. We want to focus on that with things like Catherine's Crusade. Getting all of our creatures a ton of +1/+1 counters is going to make them tough to deal with, and also a good anthem like Collective Blessing +3/+3 is really significant in combat. And we do have some strength in the deck among our creatures in the form of Elesh Norn, Grand Cenobite, as well as Craterhoof Behemoth. These definitely are great in any token deck. Your tokens get bigger with Elesh Norn, your opponent's creatures get smaller. Craterhoof Behemoth, depending on the situation, is a win con right there. And to make things even better, since we're playing green, why not play cards like Green Sun Zenith, Court of Calling, and of course Tooth and Nail. All 3 of these are fantastic creature tutors in the deck. Tooth and Nail arguably going to be the one that wins you the game, because then you could get 2 creatures. You could potentially just get an Avenger of Zendikar and then a Craterhoof Behemoth, so that you have numbers out there and you have Craterhoof Behemoth giving you power and toughness equal to those numbers for each creature. So I think that's a ton of firepower there that you're going to be working with. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the deck. It's really simple, straight to the point. The rest is just going to be good control in Celestia if you can find it. You always want to supplement a deck like this with some good value cards within the colors, such as Aura Shards and Mirari's Wake. while they don't necessarily do anything specific to our strategy, it never really hurts to have them. And this is, of course, in addition to good staples like Swords to Plowshares and Sylvan Library. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about Rhys the Redeemed. You guys have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video.